Every now and then, a story comes along which hooks you into a ride, which gives you some of the most cathartic and emotionally resonant moments. A story which promises to do much more than convey just the plot. And to me, that's Vinland Saga. My journey with Vinland Saga was a peculiar one, in the sense I read the first few chapters of the series and saved it to read or watch later at a better time. I knew this series was going to be good. And well, that time came around now, and I came across quite possibly my favorite seinen story of all time. Hello everyone, my name is Ro, and welcome to my review on why Vinland Saga is a masterpiece. Immediately as the show kicks off, we're met with a battle that will leave all of Boruto's animation budget in shambles. This battle straight away immersed us into the sympathetic and powerful character of Thor, the man who will be responsible for kicking off the crux of this epic. Also, for those anime fans who need a little teaser to immerse themselves into a character drama, what a better battle than this? The fluid, crisp, and buttery smooth animation, the beautiful and epic soundtrack, and a whole lot of ass kicking. It was an incredible battle we're met with. This was a great hook into the story, but at its core, Vinland is not a battle manga. It is a character drama, an epic which involves exploring the life of a certain Thorfinn. We meet a little man, a child who has seen a life of peace and calmness in Iceland, a child who has no enemies, a child whose eyes gleam with dreams and ambition of being a warrior, dreams which are to be thwarted and ambition which will take a twist for revenge. Thorfinn, a character who is simply amazing. Upon Thor's death, through to the final episode of the series, we see Thorfinn's evolution as a person who goes from a naive child who has a slight thirst for battle to a tunnel-visioned man who seeks battle for the sake of revenge. This is his definition of a warrior. Season 1 of Vinland Saga explores Thorfinn's revenge journey. He really is an incredible character, and the first portion of the series is simply a prologue on what's to become of him. His layered persona is an excellent way to showcase and vassal what a daunting world we're living in. Through him, we explore the themes of family, vengeance, and what it means to be a true warrior. And as the life of Thorfinn goes on, he meets others, he gains experiences, and truly learns as well as understands what the words and values of his great father, Thor's, meant. This story takes place in the 11th century world, where the ambitious survived and battled, and it was no easy place to live. We get to see brutality, murder, and something which looms over the world even today. We get to see politics. One of the greatest reasons why I found Vinland Saga to be so damn compelling has to be the insane amount of politics we're shown in the time period that we're in. This anime doesn't bombard you with information dumps. No, that is a mediocre way out. Rather, it shows it to you slowly and meticulously. The Danish conquest of England has a rich history, featuring a lot of appealing yet gruesome politics. The anime takes no small measure to show you the vastness and enormity of what we're dealing with, and it's merely a spectacle to see. We see large-scale politics to small-scale politics, and each of it is just as intriguing due to how captivating this entire world is built up as. We get to see the focus on religion. We see the admittance of various languages of different areas. We also see why landscape changes and weather can prove to be such a harsh factor. All of this just adds character to the world itself. It makes it feel very true and alive. Of course, something like religion will have a massive say back then. The Danish warriors wanted to reach Valhalla after all, and there were others who believed in the rapture. Yes, back then this was a preliminary way of thought. Of course, the winter will halt men moving on horses. Of course, they will pillage villages for food. This was simply the way of life back then, in the setting that we're based in. And well, since this is a historical epic we're following, it meshes up so damn well with the series. It's simply amazing. Speaking about the world though, this entire story wouldn't feel nearly as enthralling as it did if it weren't for how much effort Vid Studio and mangaka Makoto Yukimura put into it. The animation took just the right amount of liberties in their visual showcase of the grandiose conflict that we're dealing with, and the mangaka when crafting this story knew where to place its focuses and also where to add the drama if the need arose. Every episode has its pace immaculately planned out to where every single second felt worth it. Every moment of reflection the characters had felt somber, and the fights beautifully held that emotional backbone which leads you to feel incredibly invested. Vid Studio played a huge part in this, and I sincerely hope MAPPA can continue the good work. The beautiful world and setting exhibited in the anime wouldn't come nearly to life as it did if it weren't for the phenomenal characters we see inhabit it. This show's characters back up their incredible pomposity with their equally admirable capacity. Thorfinn, Askeladd, Canute, Ragnar, Bjorn, Thorkel, so many great characters, each of which who have their own character arc, each of which who give you some more perspective on the way of life back then, and each of them will leave you salivating for more of them. One of the primary reasons why this anime gives off such compelling and gripping characters is because all of them have their own paradigm of what life is to them. All of them have their own perspective on who a warrior or a king is. Saying it's a spectacle to follow these characters is an understatement of the highest order. The little interactions we see between the cast further enrich the varying perspectives each of the characters share and make the journey we follow them on even more captivating. For a large portion of the series, we're following Thorfinn when he's with Askeladd, Bjorn, and the rest of the band of mercenaries. With the brief moment he leaves them, we get put in a whole new world. That time he spent in that home with the mother and the daughter in England was so compelling since Thorfinn got to experience that brief moment of homecoming he had lost in the years gone by. Every goddamn character in Vinland Saga holds utility and purpose to the greater narrative. Who would have imagined the sideman Ragnar to give such a powerful storyline alongside Canute? I shed tears for this conehead, and it was very damn well justified. The dude is simply an amazing character. And now, until this very moment, I was holding back on my favorite aspect of Vinland Saga, but the series itself was holding back on it too. And this aspect is the character of Askeladd. If I had to give a single greatest reason as to why one must consider watching Vinland Saga, or heck, re-watching it, it has to be the phenomenally and layered character of Askeladd. This Welshman is in the top echelon of characters, and the voyage he takes you on as we further unfurl his persona is top notch. From the very first moment he's introduced, we know that this guy is not a one-trick pony. His battle with Thors immediately brings to light the wits he relies on. He is a thinking character. These characters who utilize their cunningness to fight are always a treat to follow, since we're bound to get something unique out of their conflicts and battles, and Askeladd is just that. He is unique and multidimensional. Although his quick wits and cunningness isn't the only reason why he's remarkable, but it's the relationships he develops with people like Thorfinn, Bjorn, Canute, and even Ragnar. Thorfinn and Askeladd's relationship has been spoken about a lot, but it's really well deserved. It's a relationship which stemmed from revenge, but eventually reformed to something much more complex. It was a father-son relationship. It's very hard to categorize the sort of bond these two share, but the development it had was very real and emotional. The emotional state of this bond can be very well demonstrated in the final few episodes of the first season, the episodes which I consider to be the pinnacle of the series thus far. These episodes dwell into Askeladd's past, and it gives more of a context on the becoming of such a man. His charisma, his sly nature, his ferocious fighting abilities all come to light. This man is incredible. The backstory that Askeladd narrates, which brought him to the path of power through the framing of his half-brother in order to exact revenge on his father, was something that should have made this man feel like a villain, because it was quite a heinous action that he had committed. But it doesn't. It just shows us further as to the dire circumstances he came from and how he became who he is today. This backstory provided a backbone to the final episode of the anime, the climax of season 1, where Askeladd is provided with the ultimatum to save the person he swore allegiance to, Canute, or his homeland of Wales. And this ultimatum is what cemented Askeladd as the best character in the series to me. He chose neither of the two options, but rather opted for the assassination of the King of Denmark, a moment in which he knew his life would end, but he would have protected what he needed to. He wasn't a hero nor a villain, but a testament to a nuanced and beautifully crafted character. Askeladd was a man driven by motive and purpose, and he stood true to that to the very bitter end. As we see the desperations in the eyes of Thorfinn when his single most paramount reason of living is taken away from him, we are left in a deadlock. Season 1 is now over, although the journey of Vinland Saga isn't. We know from the very start that this is an epic saga we're following, one which will have so many moving parts to it, and at times the journey will be fast-paced and filled with action, and at other times it will take its time to breathe and it will be somber. But this character drama isn't quite over just yet, so let's look forward to Season 2. And with that, thank you guys for watching, and be sure to subscribe. Have a great day.